exactly 6 p.m. Good evening, televiewers, and thanks for joining us live in Yaoundé for the 6 p.m. English news over the Republican television. Let's begin right away with our headlines. Shutting down the year 2021, most people in the political capital Yaoundé looking at their balance sheet regarding the year say it was a very bad year. They are therefore anxiously waiting and hoping that the year 2022 will be a good one. The prices of tomatoes has drastically fluctuated between the period of December 24th to this 30th 2021. Visiting the market on the 24th and 25th, most buyers were tempted to return home because of the high cost. A basket which was gotten from about 1,500 to 2,500 months ago had escalated to about 1,700 francs. Those were our headlines. We'll have details in a bit. You're welcome back. Let's begin with one of our headlines where within the period of December 24th, 25th and this 30th 2021, prices of tomatoes have fluctuated from about 1,700 to 7,000 and 7,500 francs per basket depending on the quality and sizes. This change of price has been alluded to dry season and the negligence of some gardeners. Though fluctuated, demand remains unshaken. Our reporter Ruth Fonyong visited some markets in the city of Yaoundé and compiled the following report.
Abundance of sun and lack of treatment has led to a drop in the substantial quantity of tomatoes available in Cameroon market. This situation concerning tomatoes has created a reduction in supply, whose consequence is an increase in prices on the market. Wholesalers and retailers say a crate of tomatoes last week costed about 15,000 francs and above.
Before now, tomato was very cheap. We could have it for 3,000, 4,000. But during the dry season, people neglected tomatoes in the bush. They did not treat the fruits, but those who did benefited a lot because on the 24th and 25th, a basket was at 17,000, 15,000. But today, you can have it for 7,000 or 7,500. But before, it was not so.
I came to buy tomato and go and sell in it today on the 24th. A basket was sold at 17,000 and yesterday at 9,000 and 8,000. But you still can find some crates at 9 and 10,000 depending on the quality and quantity. And when I sell, my prices vary from 500, 1,200 and 100 francs.
While other vendors say prices of tomatoes have dropped, others say it is expensive and they do not gain anything and as such cannot pay children's school fees, not to talk of feeding them.
Tomato is expensive and there is no money. We retailers don't gain anything because the goods are expensive. Children are not even able to go to school, not to talk of eating because there is no money in the country. We are in the dustbin. We lack customers because they run away from the dustbin.
Though tomatoes are expensive, customers cannot do without.
Despite the increase in the prices of tomato, people still buy. Imagine, for example, one who sells salad. No matter the price, they must still buy.
Worthy of note is the fact that the prices of a crate of tomatoes has relatively dropped from 17,000 on December 24th and 25th to 7,000 and 7,500 this Thursday, December 30th, 2021.
While anxiously waiting for the new year 2022, many Cameroonians have unveiled their programs for the day, with many expressing their wish to start the day in the presence of the Lord. We have details of the story with Jan Nenkam.
Entering into a new year is normally not an ordinary day, as it marks the beginning of 365 days, which, according to beliefs, the way the year is started will determine how the whole year will unfold. Few hours into the year 2022, therefore, people are intensifying preparations, notably at the level of markets, where basic commodities are gotten to assure the merrymaking part of the event. As per the way the day itself will unfold, people have different programs depending on their priorities.
For me, end of year, I always I go spend my time in church, or I go spend my time inside my house. I make my prayer, and then I try to forget anything along the past year and the coming year that I will blame any of my intention, ship brother that I've had any interrogation with her. I try to arrange. I wish him Happy New Year and let the past and let continue on the good year that I wish it.
I will begin the year in church to thank God for all He has done for me in 2021. After church, I will go home, be with my friends, family and children. I will begin the year with the Father Almighty for Him to bless me, so we spend the new year in good health.
As part of the celebration, many have equally expressed their wish of dedicating a better part of the day in church to invite the Holy Spirit of God to take control of the entire year.
Few hours to the end of the year 2021, most people in the political capital Yaoundé, looking at their balance sheet regarding the year, say it was a very bad year. Our reporter Diane Ninkam went downtown the city of Yaoundé in order to get the balance sheet of some city dwellers. Her report.
2021 has come and we are counting few hours to finally shut down the year. It is true that at the beginning of the year, just like every other year, people set up a couple of rules and regulations and a set of goals to achieve before the year runs out. Going downtown Yaoundé on the eve of the new year, the balance sheet of the year 2021 has not been a very positive one for some. As they say, it was indeed full of a lot of unforeseen challenges which paralyzed their endeavors the whole year, while to others, it was just a year like every other with nothing special.
20 and 21, which is at the end, have been positive for me, because at the beginning of this year, I expect to do something, to realize something in my life, and at the end of the year, I realized that I have not done all of what I think, but I've done some of them. Then for me, it's positive.
The year was a very, very bad one for all Cameroonians, with the COVID-19 problems in the northwest and southwest region, financial problems and others. It was very, very difficult. The year 2021 for me has been a very difficult one, because I went through a load of persecutions, which means my testimony for this year is to thank God for not allowing a lot of things to go wrong in my life.
Curiously, at the beginning of every new year, friends, families and well-wishers extend best wishes to one another, which according to many impact them, while others are of the opinion that it is actually for formality.
Is something important for me, because in the Bible they say at the beginning was the speech, at the beginning of life was the speech. And for African, we know that when your parents or the old person told you something, if you believe that it will fit you in your life, then I think that when it is sincerely talk, it can change life of some person. who believe.
An estimated total of 7 out of 10 persons are rather disappointed with the year 2021 that is shutting down and can only hope and wish for the best in the year 2022, which is pregnant and nobody knows what it will give birth to.
Let's now take you to the west region of the country, where the population of Tonga now have a new public security post. This timely built structure comes as government's effort to maintain peace and security after a bloody confrontation between Anglophones and the people of from the west, leaving 4 people dead last September 8, 2021. We have an Umeko in the following report.
Absolute calm reigns in the town of Tonga in the division west region of Cameroon after a deadly confrontation between the Anglophone and Bamileke communities September 8, 2021, leaving 4 persons dead. Coupled with the ongoing socio-political crisis rocking the northwest and southwest regions, the government took a step to avoid further confrontations by building and officially handing over a new constructed public security post in Tonga December 28, 2021.
The head of state has sent me to hand over the new public security post. It is an issue of joy and we are very happy. In the days ahead, a market will be constructed not far from here. It will generate income. All institutional and economic structures will be urgently raised, accompanied by the high level of security.
A sign of relief to the local population.
Today, we are witnessing a timely response because of the high level of insecurity in this area. We are very grateful for the government who has put in place a structure to reinforce peace and security. This will push everyone to be responsible.
To the administrative authorities, this public security post newly constructed comes in to resolve the question of insecurity.
We warmly receive this gift. The delegate for national security is not lying low in improving the security of the Tonga population. We are grateful.
With a population of over 51,000 inhabitants, peace and security is assured thanks to the efforts of the national security, as Cameroon is a land of peace and unity.
Let's now talk health, where 4,750 million francs CFA has been adopted as the National Blood Transfusion Center budget for the year 2022. This was presented during the first ever ordinary session of the Management Committee held at the Monfebe Hotel on Wednesday, December 29, 2021. Ruth Fanyong was present. Her report.
Officially installed in September by the health boss, the newly appointed chairperson of the management committee and deputy director general of the National Blood Transfusion Center held their first ever session to discuss on the 2022 budget. Together with his team, they are to carry out services and ensure that hospitals and patients in the country do not lack secured blood.
Session du comité
This session of the Management Committee of the National Blood Transfusion Center has an objective to vote the budget of the 2022, which was adopted at 4,750 million francs CFA. For both income and expenditure, this will permit the persons in charge to go to the field in the northern region of Cameroon to begin work. There is a calendar of work which will help change the face of blood transfusion in that part of the country. This job will be done step after step, given that all cannot be done at once.
commencer partout de la même façon.
Teams shall be deployed to the field in early 2022, beginning from the northern regions of Cameroon. During this first session, the 2021 budget was read, corrected, and adopted, while the 2022 budget was voted at 4,750 million francs CFA. With this, various persons in charge are expected to double their efforts for better output in the next coming year.
And on to news from the northwest region of the country. The quest for peace in the conflict-hit northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon is widely used word in the society today, but how to achieve this peace remains the question. To answer this, the non-governmental organization of Sisters of Bali Nyonga, known as the Fcfa, has sent 50 youth peace ambassadors to communities to preach peace. Our Northwest Regional Correspondent Neba Jerome says the 50 youth are committed to carrying out the exercise. His report.
These are survivors of trafficking in persons who have been transformed to peace ambassadors after 6 months of intensive training by Sisters of Bali Nyonga Fcfa.
Be able to know who is coming to your life to take you wheresoever. Little girls like at around our age always make mistakes by doing or taking wrong decisions. We should always try to contact your parents.
They have the tendency of going to Kuwait, to Dubai in search for a good life. So in my own perspective, I think that what I can do to stop this or to put an end to this is by advising the community, advising my younger ones.
In a workshop on December 28, the facilitators challenged the youth ambassadors to implement the knowledge gained in their various communities.
They will go now and restitute what they learned here in their various meetings. And first and foremost, they have to use the knowledge to avoid being victims of trafficking in persons in the Northwest region. We realize that girls and women have been the victims most affected. And as they are young, as they are coming up and they are growing up, they need to use the knowledge to avoid being victims.
Trafficking in persons in the Northwest region is on the rise today as a result of the socio-political crisis, but the NGO is calling on all stakeholders to come on board to fight this ill.
It is our interest to eradicate trafficking in persons, but gradually we see how we work from different perspectives in order to reduce and finally resort to eliminating trafficking in persons. We have trained parents, guardians, and other people on how to support survivors and victims. This time around we were on psychosocial support, civic education, peace talk, and social cohesion, especially during the crisis period.
Fcfa note should be taken was one of the NGOs that fought tirelessly for the return of over 30 young girls trafficked to Kuwait.
Let's now take you to the National Assembly, where some 2 personnel of the National Assembly have been installed this Thursday, December 30th, as a documentation of archives and research and Chief of Communication Cell. During the installation ceremony, the House Speaker, Honorable Camer challenged them to promote professionalism and renew the energy of the National Assembly. Ruth Fanyong was present. Her report.
Idila Abdullahi Saibo and Emmanuel Ekemalikini were this Thursday, December 30, 2021, installed as Director of Documentation of Archives and Research and Chief of Communication Cell, respectively, at the National Assembly by the House Speaker, Camer Jibril. These newly installed persons promise to put in their best to see that a rotatory policy will be implemented for media organs.
The communication of the National Assembly is very important for the life of the institution. So we are going to do our best to continue that with what we have been doing before. In the days ahead, with the authorization of hierarchy, I think that we have to foster a rotatory policy, because we have so many media organs in Cameroon today, and all of them cannot be given accreditation at the same time. So we are going to do a rotatory policy, which those who cover in June might be changed in November. So we'll give a fair share to every media organ. Because you accept with me that today, so many media, so many cities of Cameroon are divided. Everybody has his or her TV or radio station or paper that they are reading. So you give every media organ a fair share to cover the institution, because we want all what is happening in the assembly as an institution and what MPs are doing should be known by Cameroonians, so there will be no misgiving, there will be no doubts anymore in Cameroon.
The Secretary General of the House, Gaston Komba, reiterated on the fact that these people are men of honor devoted to the tasks assigned to them, which should be done professionally. They are also expected to overcome their challenges and boost a higher and better output during their reign.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you're just joining us, you're watching the 6 p.m. English news over Camdi's television. Let's now talk sport, where the Panthers of Gabon are heading to Cameroon with the ambition to go beyond the quarter-final stage of the most prestigious football competition on the African continent, the Africa Cup of Nations. Paired alongside four-time African champions, Ghana, 1976 winner Morocco and debutant, the Panthers of Gabon will play group games at the Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé from the 10th of January 2022. We have Isaac Ngankum in the following report.
Lodged in Group C alongside Ghana, Morocco and the Comoros Island, the Panthers of Gabon will play their group games of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations at the 42,000 capacity Amadou Ahidjo Stadium in Yaoundé. They will begin their campaign on the 10th of January 2022 when they take on debutants, the Comoros Island, which they will tackle four-time winners, the Black Stars of Ghana, on January 14th. The last group game comes up on January 18th against the 1976 winners, Morocco, after eliminating the Leopards of the Democratic Republic of Congo with a 3-0 spanking in the qualifiers. Team captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and his teammates sealed their qualification ticket for the 2021 AFCON in Cameroon, just behind Gambia, with players like Denis Bouanga and Pierre 2017 AFCON on home soil in the group stage and was completely absent from the 2019 edition in Egypt. Their best performance at the AFCON is a quarter-final finish in 2 editions, 1996 and 2012. 30 Gabonese players on the shortlist are currently training in Dubai with the ambition to do better when they jet into Cameroon for the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations next week.
We continue with sports, where the indomitable Lions of Cameroon are currently sharpening their gloves at the Mundi Hotel Multi-Sport Complex, Simalane, on the outskirts of Yaoundé. 20 Lions answered present for their first training session yesterday before receiving the Minister of Sports and Physical Education, who came to encourage them. We have Isaac Ngankum once more.
The indomitable Lions of Cameroon held their first training session at the Mundi Hotel Sports Complex this Wednesday, 29th December 2021. 20 Lions, among them Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting, took part in the training session. 4 were given permission to rest and 4 others are still expected in the den. One of the Lions ready to roar is Clinton J, who is happy to return to the den after some months of absence.
It's always a pleasure to come back with the team. I think it's time for us to work together and achieve our goals. But I think very good. Anyway, I think my teammates, they know what I'm capable of doing, and I also appreciate their attitude towards me when I was not around. So I was in contact, and it's important to feel in the group when you're not around, and that was always been the case with me. And now I'm back here to help the team and to give my best for We have some games to prepare the opening game. That is just from a week and some days away. So we are here to work very, very hard and to make sure everything goes on well.
Shortly after the training session, the indomitable Lions of Cameroon were graced with the visit of Sports and Physical Education Minister Narcisse Mwelekombi and Fcfa First Vice President Celine Eko, who came to galvanize the boys, especially following the sad news of the death of the brother of the head coach, Antonio Conceição, earlier in the evening. Echoes of the Lions' den this evening indicate that 4 players have been placed on isolation after testing positive for COVID-19, with the rest staying focused on the main objective.
And onto news out of the country, the government through Uganda National Council for Science and Technology has finalized plans to start the construction of vocational centers. We have this.
Their skills to generate income. While in Sudan, close to 2,000 food aids was stolen in Darfur in Western Sudan. The attack was carried out by an armed group on the 28th of December in the evening hours in east of Al-Fasher, the capital of northern Darfur. It should be noted that last week, UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres condemned the looting and violence near a former UN logistic base in Al-Fasher handed over to the local authorities earlier this month. Following this attack on Wednesday, the authorities Sudan's northern Darfur state announced a night of curfew. According to an official in Sudan, 1/3 of its population depend on humanitarian aids.
Ladies and gentlemen, that news out of the country takes us to the end of our 6 p.m. English news over Camdis Television. Desiree Trezombone will be with you when it's exactly 8 p.m. for news in the French language, and I'll be with you again when it's exactly 6 p.m. tomorrow. But until then, do stay tuned to interesting programs over the Republican Television. Have a blessed evening.